Now let's take our time to digest them one by one. Vertically opposite angles. If this angle is 10 degrees, then this must also be 10 degrees, and so on and so forth. So now let's take one example and see. The lines L1 and L2, so these two lines are straight lines. Find the size of angles A, B, and C. So straight ahead, I know that from the vertically opposite angles, A is vertically opposite to 89 degrees. So solution, I know that angle A is equal to 89 degrees. Then we know that C plus angle C plus 89, angle C plus 89 should be equal to 180, because the angles on a straight line, and you know that already. So C will be equal to 180 minus 89. 180 minus 89. And I think this will give me 91 degrees. So if C is equal to 91 degrees, C is equal to B, because they are vertically opposite angles. Hence, my B is also equal to 91 degrees. Good. Now let's take another example. In the diagram, M and N are straight lines. Find X and Y. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So 5y degrees, 5y degrees, 5y degrees will be equal to 100 degrees. So I can simplify this by dividing both sides by 5. So my y degrees will be equal to 100 degrees divided by 5. And this will give me 20 degrees. So my y is 20 degrees. Now I left with the x. And I also know that from vertically opposite angles, 2x plus y should be equal to 80. So substituting this, we have 2x plus 20. 2x plus 20 is equal to 80. So this implies that my 2x is equal to 80 minus 20. So my 2x will now be equal to 60 degrees. So my x will be equal to 30 degrees. Good. So that is how we use the property of vertically opposite angles. Now the next question, example 3. Let's take one more example. Now this one is a bit advanced. You're supposed to find, it's a ABC is an isosceles triangle, and Z, X, and Y are the angles you're supposed to find. So how will I start this? Good. Now I know that these two angles are on a straight line, so they'll add up to give me 180. So solution, you know that angle 2x plus 3y plus 2x minus 2y. So this angle and this angle, we should add up to give us 180 degrees. So now I think this will cancel. This is 3y, sorry. So this will cancel this. Let's cancel this. We have 4x is equal to 180. So my x will be equal to 180 divided by 4, and this will give me 45 degrees. So my x is equal to 45 degrees. Now I'm supposed to find z. I know that z is equal to 2x plus 3y. Why? 2x plus 3y, because these are vertically opposite angles. So vertically opposite angles are equal. Now I know that my s is equal to 45, so I can substitute. So z will be equal to 2 times 45 plus 3y. So my z will be equal to 3y plus 90 degrees. Good. Now the next thing I have to do is to make use of this triangle. I know that this is y degrees because vertical opposite angles are equal. Now this is an isosceles triangle, so the base angle over here is also y degrees. Now we know that the sum of angles in a triangle, sum of angles in a triangle give me 180 degrees. Good. So I have y plus z but the z is equal to 180 degrees. Now you have to know that z is equal to 90, or so we have 2y plus 3y plus 90 is equal to 180 degrees. So this will give me 5y is equal to 180 minus 90 degrees. So my 5y will now be equal to 90 degrees. So my y will be equal to 90 divided by 5, and this will be equal to 18 degrees. So hence my x is equal to our x is equal to 45 degrees. Then our z will be equal to x is equal to 45 degrees, y is equal to 18. Then my z will now be equal to 3 times 18 plus 90, and this will be equal to 54 plus 90, which is 144 degrees. So that's it. That's how we use the properties. Now these properties over here, it has been combined with the property of the triangle, so we assume that you know the properties of the triangle already. Now the next question, we move to corresponding angles. So this is how to spot corresponding angles. This is how to spot corresponding angles. You look for an F pattern. So this is the F pattern. Let's take one example. So you have to look for an F pattern. An F pattern. Good. So my F pattern is this. In the diagram, AB is parallel to CD. So AB is parallel to CD. Work out the size of angle. Work out the size of the angle marked X. So X. Now they said now X is equal to 72 degrees. Give a reason for your answer. The reason is simple and short. Corresponding angles are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. Are congruent or equal. Or you can say that X is corresponding to 72. Then the next question is, next example on corresponding angles. AB and CD are parallel lines. So work out the size of X. Look out for an F pattern. An F pattern. Good. So this angle and this angle are corresponding. But why is the angle over here? There's no angle over here. So we need to borrow, or we need to borrow the idea of vertically opposite angles to bring this angle to this side so that we can apply the corresponding angle. So let's do that. We know that this is vertically opposite to this, so this angle is also 5x plus 10. So corresponding angles are equal. So if corresponding angles are equal, then 7x minus 40, 7x minus 40 will be equal to 5x plus 10. So what do? We have 7x minus 5x as we group like terms is equal to 10 plus 40. So we have 2x will be equal to 50. Then my x will be equal to 25 degrees. Good. In the diagram, AB is parallel to CD. Work out the size of angle X. You must show workings. Okay, so let's work out the angle for X. Now we can find this angle over here. Let's say this angle is A. So A is equal to 180 minus 116 degrees. You know why? Why is it so? So A is equal to 64 degrees. Now I can find this angle also. Let's say this is K. I know that, or you and I know that sum of angles in a triangle will give us 180 degrees. So we have K plus 51 plus A. The A is 64. Plus 64 is equal to 180. So we have K plus 115. Okay, plus 115 is equal to 180. So my k will be equal to 180 minus 115 degrees. Hence, my k will be equal to 65 degrees. But we know that x and k are corresponding angles. Why? Because AB is parallel to CD, and this is an F pattern. This is an F pattern. It's an F pattern. So always look out for the F pattern. Corresponding angles are equal. So x and k are equal. Hence, x is equal to k is equal to 65. The reason is that corresponding angles are equal. So corresponding angles. Alternate angles. You look out for the Z pattern. The Z pattern. So let's work an example with it. AB is parallel to CD. Work out the size of angle marked Y. So I'll look out for a Z pattern. So look at it. So these angles are equal because they are alternate angles. Hence, Y is equal to 60 degrees. The reason is that alternate angles. They are alternate angles. So alternate angles are equal. Good. Another example. Triangle CDE is isosceles. CD is parallel to FE. Angle CED is equal to 30 degrees. Work out the size of angle X. So we are looking for this angle X. Good. Now, this is parallel to this. So I can trace a Z shape. I can trace a Z shape. If I trace a Z shape, then I can apply the alternate angles. So this angle is alternating to this angle right. It's alternating to this angle over here. So this can also be S. This is also X degrees. Good. Now this is X degrees and this is equal to this. So this is the base angle of isosceles triangle CED or isosceles triangle CDE. Hence, this angle must also be equal to X degrees. So sum of angles in a triangle must be equal to 180 degrees. So let's do that. We have X plus 30 is equal to 180 degrees. So we have 2x plus 30 is equal to 180 degrees. Hence, you have 2x will be equal to 180 minus 30, and 2x will be equal to 150 degrees. So my x will now be equal to 75 degrees. Good. AB is parallel to CD. Work out the size of angle Y. Give reasons. Okay. Now, this is parallel to this. Now I can trace a Z shape. I can trace a Z shape over here. So look out for a Z shape for alternate angles. Then this angle and this angle are alternate. So this will be 154 degrees. It's 154 degrees. Now, if this is 154 degrees, then we have this angle and this angle equal. They are equal. So if this is A, this is also A. So 2A plus 2A plus 154 is equal to 180. So 2A will be equal to 180 minus 154. So 2A is equal to 26, and my A is equal to 13 degrees. Now Y plus A should be equal to 180 degrees. So Y plus 13 is equal to 180 degrees. So my Y is equal to 180 minus 13. My Y will now be equal to 167 degrees. Now, this particular question, you need to be very careful about it. You can solve it without introducing a third line parallel to the 2. A third line parallel to this and this. So let's do that. Now if this happens, this is what we do. Now I know that this angle over here is 45 degrees, because you can trace a Z shape over here. So 45, and you trace another Z shape over here, you get this trace to be 40 degrees. Hence my Y will be equal to 40 plus 45, and this will give me 85 degrees. So the only trick is to introduce a third line. It's parallel to. Now interior angles, or the C angles. So you look out for a C shape. look out for a C shape interior angles. Now let's work first example on interior angles. So we have x plus, so look out for the C shape. This is a C shape, so this angle will add up to 180 degrees. X plus 111 degrees will be equal to 180 degrees. So my x will be equal to 180 minus 111 degrees. So my x will be equal to 69. This is 69 or 79? 79 degrees. Now the reason is that co-interior angles add up to co-interior angles. Work out the size of the angle marked x. Good. Now this is a C shape. It's a C shape. So I need this angle and this angle to be equal to 180. The sum should be equal to 180. So I need to borrow the idea of vertically opposite angles. So if you do that, you get my x plus 59 degrees. X plus 59 degrees is equal to 180, and like we saw earlier on, so x will be equal to 121 degrees. Then the reason is that they are co-interior angles. They will always tell you that diagram is not drawn accurately because you might use your protractor to measure the angle, and it's true that the diagram is not drawn to scale because we want you to use these properties. Nigel says the lines CD and EF are parallel. Tim says the lines CD and EF are not parallel. Who is correct? Who do you think is correct? Is it Nigel or Tim? Good. So you can use this based on the properties that we have established. If you're able to establish that interior angles add up to 180 degrees, then co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees, then they are parallel. So let's try that and see. We have 83 plus 97. So you are now the referee for them. 83 plus 97, and this will give me 90. Now this will give me 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So now because that property holds, because the interior angles over here are adding up to 180, then that can only be possible if these two lines are parallel. So co-interior angles are supplementary. Because the co-interior angles are supplementary, it has proven that the two lines are parallel. Good. Now take this as your assignment and do it. When you finish, you enter your results for feedback.